What's up, guys? We're gonna do the best advice spread off my website. Go check that out if you want to read from that. The way that format goes is we're gonna go past, present, major influences, and advice card, and then the outcome if you so should follow that advice, as it were. So, first card. This is the past influences. Okay, you got a sneaky motherfucker. Lie, cheating, stealing. This isn't necessarily like the worst interpretation of whatever this is. Lying, cheating, stealing. It's more so like people are probably using or a person is probably using this tactic to protect themselves. The Seven of Swords here. That's like stealing the swords from the enemy encampment in the tarot, in the traditional tarot, at night, or just whenever, and then so they can't do proper battle or something like that. So maybe somebody like snaked their way into your heart chakra or something like that. But somebody was playing dirty, or maybe you allowed them to kind of get off without their fair share, or reciprocating some way, shape, or form. That's what that talks to. That's Aquarius energy. Could be Gemini, Libra. I will say this, that when you are operating with this energy, whether it's you or somebody else, I mean, if the principles of spirituality and karma and the universe are correct, then it's in this abundant mindset, then no energy is gain or loss. And therefore, if you want to say what goes around comes around, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, only because you're kind of like removing yourself from this, abundant, unconditional model of the universe, right? Whether it's love or whatever force of, love really, I mean, other parallel forces there other than that, but I feel like, personal philosophy speaking anyways, this is how, people kind of thrive through life. This is how humanity thrives through life, right? Long way of saying that, as long as you're doing you and you're still resonating at, the highest capacity that you can, you shouldn't fear the mindset or hold the mindset of, someone took something from me, or I lost something, or I'm fractured, or I'm broken. Because again, those are models based on the thinking that's separate or unaligned with unconditional love and abundance, right? And that's what God or spirit or universe is supposed to be technically, right? It's infinite in either direction. So I think karma is kind of just the dividing line within you, right? And it's making a decision on if I'm going to be a good person or a bad person. Very simple. Very simple lesson that not many people kind of get. Maybe it took me like 30 years to finally define that somehow, way, shape, or form. I always knew that about me, but until you don't kind of like make stake a claim on like, no, yeah, I'm on the side of team light, love, and good, then if it's possible, if you deem it possible, then maybe things could be corrupted, or maybe your energies can be twisted, or your intentions can have a negative impact. So it's best to keep in mind what our impact is based on our actions as well. That takes self-awareness and mindfulness. So this is usually an energy of negation or loss, or feeling that something has been taken away from you, but it could also be a reflection of the fact that this person or persons needs to protect themselves in that way. Okay, we're all still primarily operating obviously in this 3D realm, this biological survivalism, but I think the spiritual community or spirituality, or belief and faith in higher learning and concepts, is trying to teach us that there's more than just this, right? There's ideals, there's representations, there's meanings and purpose and hopes that, help us and others thrive through life. I say thrive because it's not enough to survive. You actually want to thrive and live a happy, whole, complete, enjoyable life, right? So that's my past influence, long-winded. My present influence, right? So we're doing present, we're doing major influence, we're doing advice, and then we're doing outcome. So let's go to present influence. Okay, you got the Six of Swords in reverse. So we're seeing some sort of countdown energy or some sort of progress, right? Six of Swords in the reverse is moving to a better place internally, essentially. Before things can manifest in the external, it kind of has to manifest. The seed has to be the impetus, the incentive, the seed needs to be planted internally before it can manifest externally, right? So that's what we're kind of dealing with the Six of Swords in the reverse, which is good. That's where you're at presently, or if this is resonating with you, this is where you could presently be at. Let's go with major influences. So long story short, to piece these together, you're like, okay, I was in this energy, and then now I'm kind of piecing out because either I see my self-worth, or I'm not gonna be in this holding pattern anymore. Major influences, Spirit. Okay, you have the Knight of Swords, so you're probably feeling gung-ho. You probably were feeling gung-ho. This is Taurus moving into Gemini energy. Very adamant about when they have a thought or an idea, the Taurus energy. You could be embodying that, or someone around you can be. Hard-headed, kind of like digging their heels in. The Gemini aspect is flighty air energy, really, truly. Coming and going. Could be flaky, a negative aspect or connotation of this energy. Hot out the gates, fresh off the presses is what I always say when I see this energy. It's advised to pump the brakes. Don't be too gung-ho when this energy emerges. That's what that is. So that's your major influence. Maybe you're trying to slow things down. Maybe it's gonna take slowing things down, or maybe time is going to be required to pass by before you can kind of bank off of the Six of Swords in reverse energy. So yeah, the advice card for this situation. And then the outcome if you should choose to take the advice. This is Judgment. This is second and third chances. So, I don't know. I feel like Spirit is saying that, like, look, man, if this person or persons does try to, like, bend the knee and maybe asks for some forgiveness in some way, shape, or form, then they're gonna have to. They're gonna be hard pressed to make a case or an argument for why you should kind of let them back into your fucking timeline, really. If this second or third chances is in regards to you, you kind of gotta figure out where this could best be applied in your life, really. In regards to, if it's self-perception, how you perceive yourself, where you see yourself in in the circle of life, in the matrix of reality. Whether you're shortchanging yourself or you're giving yourself credit, the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, because the judgment is about second and third chances. It's also about kind of taking applicable portions or morsels of all the various levels that you've kind of lived through, essentially, that you've incarnated through, starting from birth to now. So if it means kind of, reaffirming your own mythology and seeing, giving yourself credit and seeing how far you've come, and try to see what the next logical piece would be. And if you know that, then in the in-between of that, before you can act upon this energy with the Six of Swords in reverse, so as to reflect into maybe a literal move in the external, how can we best utilize your time right now? And like I said in the reading before, like, for continuity purposes, like, what can I genuinely fuck with? What can I genuinely be excited about? And have some exuberance felt in my life. If you want to know more about like those different areas in your life, for sure check out just a basic astrological natal chart. It breaks down your life into 12 different sectors. It's also a read that I do offer, but if you're just interested in astrology and tarot and all that stuff, it's a good thing to know like what sectors we're actually talking about when we say these things, areas of our life. Because I think for the most part, the tarot community on YouTube, anyways, usually only kind of does readings for love and finance and career, but there's other sectors of your life. Really, truly, those are just probably the bigger ones. So we did past, present, major influences. We did advice, judgment. Judgment could also be, to wrap up the judgment card, could just be, look, man, apply logic. See where the scales aren't balanced in your life, whether you're dealing with others or yourself. And find new, creative, interesting ways to balance those scales. Again, we don't want life to be a drudge, right? We want to actually enjoy ourselves while we're doing something, or else what's the point? And this doesn't mean, to be taken away from your spiritual work or whatever good you're trying to shine or put into the world, right? It's about balance. As the great Charlemagne the God said, Mama needs loving too, right? So however that metaphor applies in your life. As opposed to just giving. You want to receive or take in some enjoyment in life too. Okay. And when you do that, when you go through this evaluation process with the judgment card, the outcome, I feel that it's going to be a good one, will be yeah, because I'm seeing that there's maybe like obvious areas in your life that you're just not taking advantage of. You're not taking time to actually just thoroughly enjoy them, really. They're there. And you've put in the work, but you're just, maybe for whatever your personal situation is, you just haven't really just given yourself that leeway or that slack to be able to enjoy. So take time out to do that. Let's give that outcome card, Spirit. Got a couple seconds left. Okay. Excuse me, coming out of that indecisive, that kind of self-ordained, blindfolded, I'm unable to make a decision, I have to have my guard up with the two swords crossed over her heart. You're coming out of that energy because you're seeing clarity with the judgment card. Clear evaluation, swords of truth and justice. And you're taking the blindfold off. You're seeing things for what they are, and you're coming out of this like kind of in-between gray zone. So if you want more on your personal situation, hit me up on Instagram or any other social media contact sites on the website, and holler at your boy. Thanks.